And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again another day committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and always providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, estate, and tax planning, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals are to serve you, our radio family, as a consumer advocate. It's all about helping you understand more about your buying decisions, helping you avoid a lot of the commission-based advice that's so prevalent out there in our communities, both on the physical side and also online. You know, you find a lot of the clickbait out there all over the place, and we don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. We want to help you win, and we are real happy to talk about Bilmar Beach Resort, our official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. The Bilmar Beach Resort, filled with fantastic and generous amenities to make your vacation that much more special. The Bilmar Beach Resort has been one of the most sought-after destinations in the Treasure Island area for many years. So whether you're planning a quick business trip, maybe you're planning a wedding, a vacation, or even a local staycation, Bilmar Beach Resort has so much to offer. They've got new buggy rides that they have over there, the beach cruisers, all kinds of cool stuff going on at the Bilmar Beach Resort on Gulf Boulevard in Treasure Island. Make sure you let Clyde Smith know. He's the general manager, Clyde Smith. Let him know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take him up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. In studio today, we got Fred Muth in the house. Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Welcome in, sir.
Oh, I'm so glad to be back. Last time I was on, I had a rough time talking. At the end of the show there, I was choking up. I'm just getting over bronchitis.
Oh, man.
I promise you, I'll make up for it today.
You're a brand new man?
Brand new man.
The Tin Man's a brand new
Tin
man. There you go.
Yes, sir.
That's right. So, a.k.a. the Tin Man here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, Tampa Screens and Aluminum.
I'd love to be selling tin. I'd be driving a Bentley, not a Buick.
Yeah, there you go.
As opposed to aluminum.
Yeah, that's awesome. So representing Tampa Screens and Aluminum, helping folks improve the value of their properties by, adding these beautiful additions onto their home. All types, people call it lanais, patios, screen rooms, all types of different names for them. But, you find them around the pools, you find them out there, just especially mosquito season. What a great time to, add one on.
Sure. And of course, you coined the phrase, the in-between space. And,
yes,
and
sir.
I use it in my presentation.
Yeah.
And I like it. Customer likes it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I love that.
I owe you one.
Hey, you got it. Mm-hmm. And that's when you look at the ability to add value to your home, especially if you got the footprint to do it. Not all homes have that footprint. Fred comes in, he gives you that expert analysis, he gives you the consultation, educational consultation that's going to help you understand more about the buying decision, but also how it impacts the environment.
That's correct.
The setbacks, all those different aspects that you got to look at.
Sure. Aside from the money aspect of our business, the thrill that I get, and I've said this on the air several times, I walk into a project, I can see the thing completed. Now, it's my job to get that idea from my mind into the customer's mind. And it's challenging and it's interesting. You'll find in some cases where people come from where I came from and where this fella came from, Philadelphia area, New York, New Jersey, they have no clue what a lanai is. They just know it's a lanai.
Yeah.
And a lanai can be a number of things. It can be a screen cage. It can be a solid roof product. It could be a sunroom with glass windows, whatever. So, the challenge of making the statement of exactly what their lanai is going to look like is very interesting to me, and I truly enjoy that.
Yeah, you have that design option to be able to design the space. And we've talked about different types of spaces over the years. We've talked about the lanais around the pool, but then sometimes people, they'll have it more of almost like a greenhouse, almost like, right, they'll have lots of plants in there.
I've done quite a few of them, and where it's the unusual situation. The one particular customer, they moved here from the Black Forest in Germany, and that's what they wanted. They wanted the Black Forest in their backyard. So they said, what can I do? And we built this huge cage, footer only at the perimeter. And after the footer went in, they came in and did all the landscaping before the cage went up. And when the landscaping was done, I came in 7 or 8 months later to look at that project, and it was something that could have been in the Homes and Garden magazine. It was so beautiful.
So no floor, no
Nothing,
flooring,
nothing.
just dirt
Just
and
dirt.
mulch or whatever, and then they
and trees and bushes and
Wow.
everything that would grow with limited sunlight, because we used the 2020 fabric on the top, which reduces the ultraviolet by about 28%, and everything went nuts. And that was probably, I'm going to guess that had to be back in the late 90s, and that cage is still there.
Wow.
I drive by and I see it quite often. It's beautiful.
So let me ask you about that. By the way, if you just joined us, Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we're talking with Fred Muth here, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, longtime friend of the program, and we talk about these screen rooms, the patios, lanais. You brought up a good point. Something we haven't really talked about a lot is with the fabric on the top, does that cause you or relieve you from getting sunburns? Does it block any of that kind of stuff? A little bit of it. Tell us about
Yes,
that.
it does. The standard fabric, 1814, which is very bug-proof, that will knock the ultraviolet down between 13 and 15%. The optional 2020 fabric is somewhere around 27 to 28% reduction of ultraviolet. Unfortunately, it will make your pool water cooler, and some people don't like that. They like bath water, basically. Me, I like it colder.
Yeah.
I would like to have it 70, 75 degrees,
Right.
because I'm from the north. So
Yep.
that's the downside to it. And there are heavier fabrics. There's what they call shade screen, which will reduce it up to 80% in some cases. But that's a whole different product. That has to be constructed differently than the standard fabric, because we have to add more purlins and make the beam spacing closer, simply because it takes a heavier wind load.
Interesting. Now, let's throw your website up there, if you have that ability to do that, because then you've added some new lines to your offerings. Tell us about that.
I love that. The pano view, what you just had on, the panoramic view of the rear of the cage.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many of them I've sold just since the beginning of this year. And it opens the entire rear of it up. You don't have the uprights and the chair rails to look through. If you have a nice backdrop, of the property. If you don't have a nice backdrop of the property, you're really not going to benefit a whole lot from that. What I do like about it more so is the fact that you can span this distance and create a beam at the top that will handle the load. At one point, in our business, you couldn't support a beam without an upright underneath of it. That would be the roof beam. Now, the carrier beams on the back side, we can now support the roof beams without an upright underneath. And the engineering is available for that in today's world. When they came out with this product, I looked at that and I said, this has got to be the hottest thing in our industry that I've ever seen.
Wow.
And it's not been around very long. And I would say within the past 5 years, it's really gone astronomical. Now, the next product, which you were going to show, is the Renaissance line.
Right.
And we are a dealer for the Renaissance product. This is what I call the evolution of the screen room. This product, it was basically available, something similar many years ago. All bits and pieces had to be put together. And it was really not something that I enjoyed selling, because that product was nowhere near the quality of this Renaissance product. The Renaissance product has all powder-coated aluminum. It's very heavy gauge metal. And just the appearance of what that looks like with the different designs in the roof, and you can have the beams in underneath the roof, it just gives it a fantastic look. Ricky with our company, Richard's son, he's sold one, and it's pretty good size. I was in the neighborhood yesterday as a referral to bid another one, which I'm bidding right now. And I got to look at this thing, and I'm going to tell you what, they did a fantastic job on it. It's something that I would be proud of hanging my hat on, saying this is mine, or something that I designed.
That's
very
awesome.
nice looking product.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. It just adds value to the home. It's going to decrease the marketing time if you do decide to sell, and just the enjoyment factor.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, on a resale, we talked about this on the last show. Is it going to give you more value for your home? We don't know that, okay? But if you have the enclosure and your neighbor does not, both houses are up for sale, they're identical with the exception of the enclosure, your house is going to go first.
Yeah.
In most cases.
Absolutely. And with mortgage rates hitting an all-time low again, or 40 to 50-year low.
Is that amazing?
I mean, people got to be pulling out equity, grabbing home equity lines and whatnot to put on something like this.
I'm signing up a lot of work based on that.
Yeah.
And I find out that, obviously that there was a HELOC or whatever, since we require a boundary survey to pull the permit, and people can never find their boundary survey. And my next question is, have you recently refinanced? Oh yeah, it's right here. Okay, and it was done within the past month or two.
Yep.
So they pull out the papers, and then I go through there and I find the boundary survey.
Yeah.
But I'm finding a lot of that. A lot of people are recently refinancing.
Yeah. It's a great opportunity for people to leverage their home, and you got to be careful. You don't want to leverage it to the hilt and to the wrong extent. But it does, if you're investing it back in your home, then it makes sense. If you're pulling equity out of your home, paying off credit card debt, there's a debate out there. Is that a smart move? Is it not? Well, you're saving money in interest. If you're paying 18, 22% on these cards and you're able to roll that into a new low payment, the caution is be careful not to run up that debt again.
Yeah, I mean, it's the discipline factor with the plastic.
That's right.
The plastic is too available.
Yeah.
And people can pull 10, 20 grand out, on a cash advance on some of these cards.
Right.
It's 0% for 12 months, with the exception of the 5% fee. So they're still getting 5% out of you, right?
Oh yeah. There's always fees.
And then when the month 11 comes along, they make the better offer once again.
Yeah.
0%. People go further and further into debt.
Yeah, that's right.
Not good.
Yeah.
Not good. Then they're 40 grand upside down, and they do a HELOC on the house, and they pay the cards off, and they put nothing back in the house. In the meantime, it needs a roof.
Yep, that's right.
So
needs a roof, or they need to sell, and they wonder why they can't get sold because they're listed too high.
Sure. You see it all the time with what you do.
Oh, yeah. It's a challenge. All right, stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Fred Muth in the house, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. And we have our feel-good story of the day coming up. It's a good one. Grandma's missing 5 days. Grandma missing 5 days is found alive after grandson decides to search one last time. Stay with us right here. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, National.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by True Leaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping our buyers, sellers, and investors win in their real estate transactions, win in their negotiations. I'm a certified negotiation expert. I actually teach courses at the Greater Tampa Realtor Organization. Got one coming up at the Pinellas Realtor Organization as well. And this segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brothers Easy Moving. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that they are a first-class organization. They do a great job with all their local or long-distance moves, and they have great ratings online. Google, 4.6 rating on Google, 4.5 on Yelp, A rating on the Better Business Bureau, and they've also won the Super Service Award multiple times. Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Give them a call, let them know the real estate quarterback sent you, and take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we got a couple of hot listings here I want to let you know about. I got a motivated seller at this property close to the beach, 11540 Shipwatch Drive in beautiful Pinellas County, unit number 1391. It is a upstairs unit overlooking the lakefront, and it is 11540 Shipwatch Drive, unit 1391. Super motivated seller here. If you've ever wanted to own a beach condo, this is it. It's close to the beach, literally 5 to 7 minute drive, and you are on the beautiful sugar sand beaches of Pinellas County, and the owner's motivated on that property. 12610 Port Marnock Drive in Odessa. This property, one of my favorite listings, it's just over $500,000 price tag on it, but it's a great property, great lot, beautiful layout, no front or backyard neighbors. You've got beautiful drone photography here, compliments of Fabre Frameworks. If you look at the drone shots, you've got a large lake in the back. You got a pond, lake up front as well. Golf course, community, Turnberry at the Eagles, pool and spa. Too many upgrades to list here on the show, but great opportunity on Port Marnock Drive in Odessa. Beautiful properties. Check out all of our listings at PlatinumMVPTeam.com.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
And we're back here in the studio. We got Fred Muth in the house, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, talking real estate. And I think that was interesting what we were talking about over the break. You know, just timing these deals, you know, especially during the rainy season.
Yeah.
You know, you got the foundation that needs to be poured.
Right.
And, you know, that's interesting. You mind sharing that?
Well, sure. Because, I mean, the problems that you run into with this time of the year, you don't just pour a foundation. It's involved. The concrete contractor has to dig, form, set the steel. Of course, he digs a footer, and the footer's deeper than the rest of the slab. Then at some point they come in and do a termite treatment. That's required. And then, of course, it's all covered with plastic, ready for the pour. Okay, what's a pour? It pours rain. An hour later, it's pouring. Then the footer fills up with water. Footer's wet. The whole thing's wet. Everything's muddy and murky. You don't want to pour on that. If you pour concrete on top of that, a lot of times the muck and the mud will penetrate through the concrete and come to the surface.
Oh, no.
And then you'll have muddy, mucky potholes in the surface of the concrete. Now, home builders can get away with that, basically because whatever they pour is covered. And, you know, obviously our stuff is not typically covered. Whether it's covered or not, you don't want that stuff to be exposed in the exposed patio on your new screen room. Because in some cases, like I'll sell the job with the patio and the screen, and then the pavers may come in a year later when they have enough money in the in hand to buy the pavers.
Right. That's right. Awesome.
Is that our other?
Yep.
Okay. The other thing is with these foundations, and I always dig in a lot on the foundation part of our business. And the reason why I do it, because it's quite overlooked in the industry. A lot of the guys that sell enclosures just sell screen enclosures and are unfamiliar with the concrete part and the problems. And it's not, I mean, it's a problematic situation when the weather works against you with masonry. The other thing that we run into in the city of Tampa, for example, and when I leave this studio today, I had to go buy a site that I sold a job. I have to actually document and count the number of trees within a 20-foot radius of this area, even though they're on the other person's property. And hi, how you doing?
Hi, sure.
Good to see you. And the species, the size of the trunk, this is the way the city operates. So, I
Right.
don't mind doing this, but the thing is, I've got to get on the next guy's property, and he's got a Rottweiler. I hope the Rottweiler and I get along over there.
Yeah,
But I got to go over there and measure the base of the tree. I highly respect the way the city operates. A lot of people have complaints about it, but there's a lot of good reason why they do this. They don't want structures going in where they're going to interrupt any of the roots of anything. Because South Tampa's got some beautiful trees.
Yeah.
And it's not just oak trees that we have to respect. It's what do you call it? Magnolias and some
Yes.
others. I'm more of a nature guy. Even though I sell enclosures, I respect nature for that reason. So other people in our business, they complain about the hoops they have to jump based on what the city's requiring. But
Right.
again, I agree with it. And then there's the green space. All right, we can't just keep pouring concrete all over the place.
Right.
We have to have percolation, and that's something else I always talk about.
Yeah.
And there's a mathematical equation that we do before we can get the inspection or even the permit in some cases for the green space. The 25% factor has to be there. And in some cases, if it's too close to the 25% factor, they'll require that the homeowner has had their CO for at least 2 years with no complaints. And I just...
Wow.
I just have one. As a matter of fact, June 27th was a 2-year period for one of my customers. And I sold the job 6 months ago.
Wow.
So now we're going forward with it. So there's all these things. The consumers, they're not aware of this. They think the screen room's a screen room. Let's go buy a screen room, put it up, and let's move on.
Right.
But there's a lot that goes into it. Now, when I started in this business way back in the 90s, you could buy a screen room and have it up in 2 weeks. Everything was cool.
Wow.
Not like that now. But look at the what's going on in this area as far as construction.
Right.
And everywhere you go, they're pouring concrete. And every time you pour concrete, you will limit percolation.
Yes.
And when you limit percolation, the water that used to go here goes over there.
Yep.
Mrs. Smith now has your water. Okay, she builds a screen room. Mr. Jones now has her water and your water, and it keeps going and going and going. And it's got to get in South Tampa. It wants to go to the bay.
Yep.
But a lot of times the bay wants to push it backwards.
Yeah.
So South Tampa is a wet area.
It does. It gets wet fast down there. So I wonder, is that a challenge? Are we seeing, flood insurance rates rising because of it? I mean, is it that much of a challenge? At some point, it's got to be, a big time environmental concern.
I think we've hit that plateau. It is an environmental concern at this point, and that's why the city is so tuned into making sure that things go correctly.
Right.
Hillsborough County, outside of the city, they sort of turn a blind eye to it. The restrictions are much less. Pasco, same thing. I know Temple Terrace was at one point. They were very, very tuned into making sure that the water went in the right directions.
Yeah.
And Brandon, I don't disagree with it. It's got to be done.
Right.
If you look at some of these areas where they keep overbuilding and overbuilding. The retention pond over there, the engineer said the water's supposed to go there, but that water ends up in the ballpark over there.
Yeah.
The pond's dry, ballpark's wet.
Right.
I mean, it's a bad situation.
Yeah.
So they have to really keep their eye on it and make sure that the water goes in the right directions.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this stuff plays out over the next decade or two. I mean, you look at cities like Miami. They're talking about building a wall around the city. They were saying, the people that believe they should do that, that's crazy. You can't. How do you know? How can you really predict 10, 15, 20 years?
That's right.
And you see some of these changes happening, whether it's man-made or not. That's when you get into the Republican or Democrat,
Right.
left or right thing. But if you look at the stats, it does show, I believe it shows that you have projected sea level rise over the years.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, just you can travel the country and you can see evidence of that. And obviously, what else is evident is it's getting much hotter.
Right.
Alaska hit an all-time heat wave a couple weeks ago. Right? Anchorage was 85 or 86 degrees, which was sort of unheard of.
Yeah.
And look at what we deal with down here. And,
Right.
I mean, it was 102 one day in Brandon. 108 was the feel-like temperature.
The feel like, yeah. I've seen that too. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Tough. It's kind of nice out there today, though.
Yeah, I don't mind the rain. It gives us a little break from the heat.
Well, I mind the rain because I can't pour concrete. So
Okay.
watch what you say.
Yeah, there you go. Afternoon rains, is that okay? Can you pour it down in the morning?
No. Let the rain go away for about 2 or 3 weeks right now.
Yeah, we
so
need
I
a break.
get some of these jobs poured.
That's true. Absolutely. All right, so Tampa Screens and Aluminum. We want you reaching out to Fred Muth, a.k.a. the Tin Man. And the website is, give me the website again.
Just www.tampascreens.com.
Tampascreens.com. Tampascreens.com. And, of course, all of our expert contributors are on our website at consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors on our website. You can also submit an email form on the site. Any questions, comments you have. And we want you reaching out to our show hotline as well, 813-670-7372. We would love to connect with you there, 813-670-7372. When we come back, Michelle Frome in the house, Stark Branding Solutions. And we have a feel-good story of the day for you. Grandma missing 5 days is found alive after grandson decides to search one last time. Right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Twitter and Instagram, and our Consumer Quarterback Show page out there as well on Facebook. We'll see you right after this short timeout. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves. And it's on Amazon. It's about starting your own show, growing your celebrity, how to increase your sphere of influence, kind of the prequel to the business that we launched with Ken Shamrock and Des Woodruff, the Business Growth Celebrity Academy. So the Business Growth Celebrity Academy located at bgca.co. Check out bgca.co. Helps you become a micro celebrity to grow wealth, build personal brand, and increase your status. Anyone can become a micro celebrity. It's easy, and we teach you how through the Business Growth Celebrity Academy. So we're going to help you build wealth and increase your personal status at bgca.co. We got daily webinars running there, and my partners will handle that as well. Ken Shamrock, Des Woodruff. They actually just launched another venture. They're doing bare knuckle fighting now. I don't know if you heard about that one. The AP picked it up yesterday.
No, but I love to see it. He's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been at a few events with him.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to arm wrestle that guy. Let me tell you.
Right.
Not a chance.
No arm wrestling, no real wrestling, no.
No, nothing.
Might thumb wrestle him, though.
I
You want to
don't think
thumb
so.
wrestle? All right, so back here in studio helping you. We got Fred Muth in the house, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, and Michelle Frome making her appearance here today. Shark Branding Solutions. Welcome in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. And let's jump right into it. So we're going to talk about marketing now. So this segment's going to be a lot about marketing, how people can grow their business. You got digital marketing, you got traditional marketing out there. I think you're focused more on the digital marketing side. Is that right? You know, some press release type things. Tell us a little bit. Give us an overview.
We are a full service marketing and advertising agency. So we do everything between traditional and also through digital. We kind of believe to where it takes between 7 and 10 times for someone to see your message. So you want to get them everywhere they are rather than just, on TV or on the radio or online, because people are everywhere. So you want to get your message and make sure it's a consistent message everywhere. And you want to do it between 7 and 10 times. So that's kind of what our agency does is we're full service. So you can kind of work with us and we can either just put you in one space or we can put you everywhere. It's kind of depends on your budget. And then what we also do is for people that are smaller businesses and entrepreneurs where they can't necessarily afford to have a complete advertising agency. Maybe they can only afford one marketing person. What we will do is we will come in and train your marketing person so that way you can have the ability of having a full team without having to have the payroll of a full team. So we will kind of come in and teach your team how to do kind of what we do.
That. That's a great idea.
Thank you. We found that it just kind of works for a lot of people. It's very hard to be a marketing generalist and to keep up with everything that goes on. So we know what's going on and we're learning that from our clients too and just the different things we're seeing. So why not come in and just teach you guys how to do it? Because there's no way a small business can afford 5 to 10 marketing employees. It's just not feasible. You can't do it. So that's why we offer the coaching option.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. And you look at the guys like Gary Vaynerchuk and Grant Cardone's, Frank Kern's, a lot of those guys, they're digital marketing, they're online, and they are utilizing Gary's story has where he used to utilize Google AdWords. He's buying different wine strategies back in the day. Then he went into Facebook. So what's hot right now? What are you seeing really working for those people out there?
So what's really hot is there's some big changes that have happened recently with the social media algorithms in particular. So now Facebook is having a higher focus on group engagement. So what you're going to notice in your news feed is you're going to see less and less of your friends post a bunch more ads, which nobody really wants to see anyway. But then what you'll see a majority of are group interactions. So there's a big push for the algorithms for you to go and be involved in these groups. You're going to see those first. In fact, all of my entire newsfeed is nothing but posts. So in those groups. So what we're actually switching to is nobody's really going to see your business Facebook post unless they engage with you all the time, which rarely does that happen. So there's a big shift in not spending as much time and resources in going and posting consistently on your business Facebook page, but using those posts as ads and sponsoring them as ads because the algorithm shows those more so than if it's on your Facebook page. So if you think about it, if let's say you pay somebody a few $100s to manage your Facebook page, you're just kind of wasting money because nobody's really seeing it. So you can take that money, do a couple of really good ads that are consistently running, and it's actually saving you a lot of money.
Yeah. So in essence, from their perspective, from the Facebook out in where are they at? Silicon Valley, somewhere out there, Facebook.
I think
So you look at from them, they're like, hey, we got people on this site. We've been, they've been a market leader for years. People are there, and yes, you get the grandpas looking for the grandkids pictures and vice versa, right? You get all that. From a business perspective, they're looking to kind of get some ROI coming, right? So they're saying, hey, let's charge people for these ads. Let's make them more visible. If I'm kind of collecting what you're saying, and then the groups. So the idea behind groups, what do you think's going on there? Why are they showing the groups more so?
Because there's a big focus in engagement. So at one point there was a huge focus in follower count, and so everybody was trying to get as many followers as possible because the idea was that people would see your posts. If you had more following, more followers, more people seeing your post. What happened was people became very passive, and then also there was so much ad volume and inventory that they had to serve that people weren't seeing that, no matter how many followers you have. So less than 10% of your followers are actually seeing your post. It's actually, I think it's down to 4%, but to be conservative, it's 10%.
Wow.
So they've changed the algorithm to be based more on engagement. So you're going to see people's posts that you engage with. So in a group, people interact with you. They engage with you. They're not just posting pretty pictures and you're liking it. They're actually commenting and responding. So the engagement is huge in groups, and so therefore that's why you're going to be seen if you're in a group. So the key really now is to focus on creating your own group and then driving people there and engaging with them there, so that way you can be a thought leader. You still want to have the Facebook page because it's kind of like a website. You need to have it just as kind of a standard. Just don't expect to get a huge ROI out of that. You're going to get more for you, just kind of more for everything you're doing if you're doing in a group. And that's kind of how Gary did a lot of things with him. Is he went and he started interacting with people all the time that were talking about wine when he was doing his winery. So he started talking to them and providing them help, offering them here's some samples of the wines if you want to post about it. And that's really how he became that thought leader and grew his following. It wasn't really by doing a bunch of ads all the time. It was really giving away free advice or helping them and looking more as a friend and building that relationship. And then he started doing
and then he started writing his books, Crush It, and the follow-up books to that. So it's interesting. If you just joined us, Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the show. We're talking with Michelle Frome, Shark Branding Solutions. We also have Fred Muth in studio as well, Tampa Screens and Aluminum. Fred, do you have a question for Michelle here?
Well, no. I'm all ears right now. This is hitting me pretty hard, and I wish you kept talking. I was taking a lot in. But with our business right now, we're getting hit from all directions, and it's not that we're not really looking for a new method of marketing. But I promise you, when the economy drops off a little bit, we will be.
Oh, yeah, well,
that's when we need it.
Shifting markets require boats float at different sizes.
That's correct.
The old book, Who Moved My Cheese, right? Where the cheese moved. You got to figure out. That's one thing I did back in the days when the mortgage meltdown happened. I jumped into the other side of the business and started doing foreclosure cleanup for the banks. So it's like, where's the money at? Oh, it's not on the origination side or your people buying houses anymore. It moved to the other side. It moved to, let's clean up the REOs, the foreclosure homes. Let's clean them up, clean them out, cut the grass, and even handling evictions and things like that.
I think there's still a few of them available.
It's a very small inventory though compared to 07, 08, 09, 010 back and then. But so Michelle, what's another frequently asked question or maybe a misnomer? And I know you mentioned at one point you ran some ads that then it's always a constant and never-ending improvement, right? So you run ads, you figure out what's working, what's not. Maybe you can give us some of your insights.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have a really fun story. We recently did a product launch and it was a disaster. It was awful. And of course we're supposed to be the experts, so we can't even run ads to say for our own stuff.
Murphy's Law.
Oh, it was awful, right? So I've been sitting here, just going through the flows and trying to figure out what it was. And it was my 7-year-old that cracked the code, actually. Yeah, it was her. It was absolutely her.
That's cool.
And if you think about it, who are the best salespeople that are out there? You know, who is
Kids.
it? And it's kids.
Yeah.
You work your butt off. You do everything you can to get money to buy them crap they don't need.
Yeah.
And they're only happy for the last 10 minutes.
That's right.
That's it. So that's where I turned to. I said, Olivia, what am I doing? What's going on? So we walked through the scenario basically of a Build-A-Bear. She wants this ridiculously expensive Build-A-Bear that I will never go into Build-A-Bear, by the way, because I know I'm not getting out of there for less than $100. And I've got 2 kids, so
I remember those
it's
days.
$200 at that point. So I talked to her about how she would get me to buy this bear, and she had 2 approaches, and it was really smart. She said, one, I would tell you and keep convincing you as to why the bear is awesome and why you need to spend it on the full price. But then the other approach was, while I was doing that, I would do everything I can to get you in the store, because I know if you're in the store, my chance of you actually buying is good.
Sure.
And I said, well, once I'm in the store, what would you do? She said, well, then I would go let you see how much it is, and I would ask the girl if she had a discount. So then you would say, oh, it's on sale, so now you're definitely going to buy it. And that's really where I looked at it and said, oh my gosh, what am I doing? This is crazy. I'm offering a discount before people even know what the value is. You don't care about a discount if you don't see the value or you don't see what it really costs.
Right.
So she helped me with that. But the other thing she said, which was really important, I'm one of those people, I know we run an agency, and so I'm supposed to know, like, here's what we do and here's our process. But I'm just like every business owner, like you guys are. I want to run an ad and I want it to work immediately.
See results.
Exactly. So I don't want to go and spend a long amount of time doing it. I want it to happen right now. But my daughter, she was very smart. She says, how I get you to do what it is I want you to do is I bug you all the time, and I don't stop. And it's so true.
She's a closer. She's an absolute closer.
So good.
Natural closer.
And so that's what she had. And that's it. It was, instead of me hitting hard with a bigger budget and a short amount of time, I need to go and let the campaigns work and do it and see those messages 7 to 10 times before I'm like, oh my gosh, fine, I will do whatever it is you want me to do. And that's really where the retargeting and making sure that you are spending, you're setting up the retargeting to where you don't just get them with that first cold sale, but then you are consistently nagging them until they do what it is that you want them to do, just like kids do. So you got to set your ads up and all of your marketing tactics that you do just like kids, because it will get you to do it every time.
That's right.
And I tell you what, I changed it. So for 3 weeks, I have been doing this. I have spent so much money on ads, and I have gotten nothing.
Oh,
nothing.
Man.
And
Facebook ads?
Everything.
Oh, mixing
everything. I've done all sorts of. I have not had one conversion, and then I fixed it with the way that she described. And I tell you what, within 10 minutes, I sold 2. I didn't have to run any ads, didn't do anything. And
Very
it was
cool.
all fixed. I literally stood up and screamed with excitement.
That's awesome.
She's so proud. She's 7. And I was like, you got it.
You helped me on that. Yeah.
Did you put her on the payroll?
I know. Well, she is. I promised her the Build-A-Bear. So
We
I
got to
said,
come
look,
into
we're
a
gonna
break
go
here,
in
but
there.
that's good stuff. And when we come back, I want to ask you about bots. A lot of people are using these automated bots now. The importance of building a list and maybe a little bit of Instagram as well. Fred Muth in the house as well. We're going to talk about lightning round tips, nuggets of advice, parting words of wisdom, and our feel-good story of the day. Grandma missing 5 days is found alive after grandson decides to search one last time. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by True Leaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate negotiations, buying, selling, or investing. We would love to talk to you. Check out PlatinumMVPTeam.com. PlatinumMVPTeam.com. This segment is brought to you by Whole Body Fuel, the official meal delivery service of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Whole Body Fuel, chef prepared by Brian Adamo himself. He is the chef. You got convenient, organic, healthy meals delivered directly to your home or office. And I love it. Every week I get my delivery, and they've got the world famous protein donuts as well. Excellent food. Lots of unique combinations of proteins and carbohydrates, vegetables, and it tastes very good. I can tell you that. Plus, it's going to make you healthy. What else do you have in this world if you don't have your health? We want you reaching out to wholebodyfuel.com. Check them out. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. And we are back here in studio. Our goal is to help you win as your consumer advocate. A couple of hot listings here. 9200 Gun Highway in Odessa. This property, it's a corner lot right at Gun and Racetrack Road. And for those in Tampa Bay, you know, you travel that road sometimes if you're heading up north. It's the last corner that's available, the owner tells me, to be developed on Gun Highway right there. 9200 Gun Highway. Great opportunity. 2.39 acres in Odessa, a hot property listing. We just took this listing about a week ago. And we also have 223 South River Hills Drive. This property is in Temple Terrace, close to USF, executive style home, conservation lot on the Hillsborough River. Growing up on a river is just a great time for the children. I grew up in South Florida on a river, and this is a great opportunity. You know, think about the kids having fun out there, the enjoyment that you have on the river. 223 South River Hills Drive, Temple Terrace. Couple of hot property listings. Check out PlatinumMVPTeam.com. All right, every day we're going to tell you something positive in our feel-good segment of the day, and we have a good one for you today here as well.
Tell me something good.
All right, so we had a grandmother who had been missing 5 days. She's found alive in the woods behind her apartment complex in Charlotte, North Carolina. Sandra Adams, 69, was reported missing after family members went to check on her at the apartment on Friday morning. They say Adams was missing, hadn't been seen since Wednesday, and was known to walk around her complex, but always return home. After days of searching, Adams' grandson, Nate Castle, and his friend Sean Willis decided to search one last time. Quote, "He wanted to look in the woods. I woke up this morning with the same idea. Let's go search in the woods in the neighborhood," Willis told WSCOC. On Monday morning, Castle and three of his friends fought their way through the heat and the heavy brush along a small creek behind Adams' place. They searched for about a quarter mile until they found her near the park, lying face down in a creek bed. For a few heartbreaking moments, Castle thought he had lost her and called the police. "We got a call from the quote from the police officer here. We got a call finding out a possible deceased person on the creek bed." Brian Nicholson said when Nicholson got into the park, he said he searched and found that they were the body, but when they something remarkable had happened. As we were coming toward her, she raised her arm up, Nicholson said. Everyone was in shock. It is a blessing and a miracle, Castle said. Police told that Adams gathered enough strength to tell them she fell while going on a walk. Wow. They're about to give up on her.
Yeah, now I have to top that story?
Yeah, let's top that.
I don't know
Fred.
if I can. I think you can with your. I was so amazed at what you were saying about your daughter. It's just
She's smart, man.
Smart.
Yeah.
She's smart.
The kids these
She's
days,
smart. Yeah.
they're definitely more advanced than we were at our age, the similar age. You know, there's so much more open to them, so much more. You know, they're born with a iPad in their hands these days. You know, swipe, and you see the one video so funny. The baby looking at a book, they're trying to do their fingers like this to move the book up, or, you know, make it the words bigger or smaller, and they're like, "What is this? This is an actual book. It's not moving." So let's jump into our lightning round here. Let's go around and get some tips here.
The lightning round.
I am so good at lightning rounds.
I made you.
All right, here we go. Nuggets of advice, top words of wisdom. Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum.
No matter what project you're bidding out to the homeowner, I say this, make sure you ask a lot of questions. You can ask redundant questions over and over. It makes no difference. If you ask the questions, the representative of that contracting company should be comfortable with you, because basically you're going to cover everything. There's going to be no surprises on the back end. That's one of the worst things about construction is the many surprises on the back end.
Yeah.
And things happen. I just had a situation where a customer called me. She signed a contract with a pool contractor, and she wants me to bid the cage separately. So I said, okay. I said, what's the surface? She says, pavers. I said, well, pavers. I said, but what's underneath? She says, just pavers. I said, well, you have to have a footer.
Yeah.
She didn't ask the questions. So now she bought the package. She bought the pool package without the cage, without the footer.
Wow.
And she's trying to work that out right now. So these are the just little examples of what can go wrong if you don't ask a lot of questions. And
good point.
Some people should not feel intimidated by asking the questions.
Yep.
Ask and ask and ask and ask. My best customers are the ones that just pepper me with questions.
Yes.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. The same way with the real estate game. I like it when I get a lot of questions. Give me more questions. What is your goal? What's the ultimate outcome? How will we know if we're on track? All those open-ended questions. That's great for a salesperson to ask.
Absolutely.
Because then you have accountability to those answers.
Yep.
Yeah, I like
yes,
that.
Sir.
All right, let's go to Michelle.
I guess my tip would be stop trying to close the sale on the first or second ad that you're doing, and that's your first or second touch point with somebody. Someone explained it to me. It's kind of like Tinder or a dating app, and you're trying to convince someone to marry you after they just saw a picture of you. You have to build a relationship. You have to go on a couple dates to convince them to marry you and spend all of their money with you and buy everything that you want.
Yeah.
So you have to use your ads and your marketing tactics to build that relationship and to just completely wow them to where they're like, please let me give you all my money. Let me marry you. Let me throw out everybody else. Let me just go with you. And that's kind of the biggest mistake that I see a lot of people is they try to close the sale on the first ad. So,
oh, yeah. That's a Tin Man procedure.
And then
the original Tin Man.
Yeah, I like that. The Danny DeVito version.
DeVito, right.
I like that. So yesterday I talked about mirrors. Today I'll talk about labels. So a negotiation, when you think about negotiation, you think about labels, okay? So the label is where you're assigning words to someone's emotion. So if someone, especially the best example is when someone's upset with you or they're coming at you with anger, and whether it's your fault or not, we've all had this happen. The best thing that you can do is lead with an apology. I'm sorry, and then you label it. It seems like you feel, or it seems like you feel this way, or it seems like you're upset, or it seems you label that fear or that emotion. Now, when you label that emotion, what you're doing is you're taking energy from that emotion, and you're moving their thought process in their brain from their amygdala, which recognizes fear, to the more rational side of their brain that says they have to think about it. So that you can literally see the shift in their mind instead of coming at them with fear when you go, or with anger. So if anger hits anger, you got two pit bulls going at it, right?
That's right.
So that's no good. We've been there. We've all known you can't yell back. What are you going to get there, right? So if you label their emotions, and it could go the other way too. It doesn't have to necessarily be anger. But if you label it, and especially in negotiations, and you're simply assigning words to that, it feels like, it seems like, it sounds like. I didn't say that it was. It seems like, it feels like, it sounds like. When you do that, now you're also on the negative side, when it is anger or something bad, you're going to be diffusing that anger, right? That emotion. But when you label a positive on the flip side, you're strengthening that positive. So you think about that when you're working with coworkers and people of that nature. So that's what a label is. So it's interesting, so we talked about mirrors yesterday on yesterday's show, and then today labels. And then again, it's from Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference, Negotiating as If Your Life Depended on It. Excellent book. I highly recommend it, and love it. I love the negotiation side. Hey, another great show. We're almost out of time here. We got Fred Muth in the house, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, Michelle Frome, Shark Branding Solutions. Thanks so much for coming in, and we want to thank all of our listeners, our viewers out there, and our team behind the scenes putting the show together. We want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Pack up some food or clothing, carry it with you to and from your commute, hand it to that person that you see in need, and be a force for good in the community. Do something kind for one another. And lots of ways you can get involved. You can donate time. You can donate money, of course, old clothing. Do something kind for one another. Do something kind and be a force for good in the community. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram and Twitter, at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Brandon Rhymes PA rather on Facebook, and of course the Consumer Quarterback Show page out there. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show. Weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 13.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 102.5 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.